Message sent. Was it received? Message is pretty clear. Win now. That's what the Rangers said yesterday. Let's talk about it next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, the rotation likely is pretty close, if not complete. I'm sure the Rangers would still be opportunistic, as they say, if the right thing came along and at the right time. But for now, the huge blockbuster trade of yesterday has bolstered the rotation to the point that it is easily among, if not the best in baseball, among the best in baseball. Hi there. Welcome into the DLLS Sports Studios. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson. We had the Kit Kat working for a minute, and Kat left. Kit's flying solo today. So look at him, hands up in the air and ready to roll.
Like he just don't care.
Like he just don't care, but he cares. It's Kat we're a little worried about. Yeah. No, she's been busy. She did Stars last night, filling in for the birthday boy. And she did Cowboys today. So she's busy. But
wonderful.
We are busy too. As you all know, I know everybody in the dang chat was there.
Busy's good.
Yeah, it is. Boy,
Busy's
especially
good.
This time of year.
Yeah.
As everybody in the chat knows, and you were all there for the emergency pod, I'm sure, like 10 minutes down the road from here, we get the news. Jeff gets the call that the trade has been made. So we hustled home as quick as we could for the emergency pod. And, I'd been telling a few people earlier in this week, Jeff, I'm like, yeah, right now this is kind of the dog days of the off season, right? You have a dog days of a season. This is kind of the dog days of the off season, not much happening. Well, if these are dog days, today is like the Westminster Dog Show, Jeff. I mean, we're going best in show, baby. We're going best in show.
And I'm I loved the Westminster Dog Show growing up because they would openly say bitch in relation to a female dog, and I was like, man, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
But the off season can be a grind, can be a B word, and it's so long these days. It goes into March.
Yes.
And I would not be surprised if the Rangers are active in March at some point. And they had such a long lull until they signed Jacob Junis, and kind of wondering, gosh, are they done? What are they going to do these things? Are they just going to wait till these guys are so desperate just to have a team? And lo and behold, they were working behind the scenes to get an all-star left-handed pitcher who's 27 years old and is under club control for 2 more years. He's making $5.6 million this year, which doesn't put a dent in the payroll, and then or much of a dent. And he's good. And if you want to look at any red flags, you say, oh man, he was terrible in the second half last year, and it's 6.75 ERA. He had a couple short starts where he gave up 8 runs in 3 innings or something like that, and that'll get you every time. But Chris Young said Gore was dealing with a little shoulder fatigue, and then Chris Young played his "I'm a former major league pitcher" card.
Sure,
said I went through bad second halves. They're not a big deal. They're allowed. They happen. It's just baseball. So they feel great about what they got, and yeah. You look at the other side of the trade, the 5 prospects the Rangers gave up. It's like that's a chunk in a dent in a system that doesn't have a lot right now. But we're going to get into that in the second segment here. But as Ross said, Ross Fenstermaker said, when you have a chance to get a pitcher of this caliber, you do it.
Yes, absolutely. 27 years old, left-handed, number 3 overall pick in the draft in 17, and a guy who's also, as we mentioned on the emergency yesterday, he was already a part of a blockbuster trade, and he was a part of the Juan Soto trade, coming back over to Washington from the San Diego Padres. So he's a guy that's been sought after previously, probably again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about the guy. He hasn't had the opportunity to live up to his potential. And in part, that has to do, as you mentioned, shoulder fatigue and bad second halves. It wasn't just last year. He's had a couple of bad second halves, but he's been on a terrible team, right?
Yeah.
The team lost 96 games last year.
Sure. Well,
so that zaps you as a young guy, a 26, 27-year-old guy. Man, it's tough, and you don't have the people around you to necessarily bolster that. And now what he's got in this rotation, and it is for sure among the best, if not the best. What he's got is these two men, Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi, who Eovaldi in particular, but both of whom are leaders, are teachers, thrive on sharing information about how to get this done at this level.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a pre-arb player, you're still a young player.
Yeah.
Okay. You still have theoretically more years to go, many more years to go than you've pitched in. So MacKenzie Gore is allowed to get better, and when you're a prep pitcher, selected out of high school, they treat you with kid gloves. Okay. So
yes,
17 kid gloves, 18 kid gloves, 19 probably some kid gloves, 20 no baseball. MacKenzie Gore did not pitch because COVID canceled the minor league season. So theoretically, he's actually probably a little bit younger, mileage-wise, tread-wise on the tires than 27.
Yep.
And he's going to get better. I think that's obviously what the Rangers think, and you just have to find that consistency, and that's what some of the Nationals bloggers were saying. Like, he could be a number one, but he needs to be more consistent. And you kind of look around at their his whip, and if you're whip people, probably walks too many guys. But he does an okay job keeping the ball in the park. And again, when you think about the American League West, you think about the teams who are the Rangers' competition for the division title. I'm going to leave out the Angels. You want to flip. Excuse me. You want to flip around Cal Raleigh,
right?
And Josh Naylor is now their first baseman for the next 5 years. Now, Gore may not be around for all of those years, but that's two lefties you're hopefully, two big bats you're hopefully neutralizing. And then you look at the Astros. Their best hitter is a left-handed hitter, and Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then you want to, everybody's so excited about the A's, who still don't have any pitching, but got a lot of hitting.
They have a lot of it lefty. Yeah,
and three of their top 6 hitters are left-handed bats. So I think that's also something you need to look at. So, excuse me. The fact is that the Texas Rangers, and you said this yesterday, Texas Rangers right now are better.
Yeah.
Than they were at this time yesterday.
Yeah, and I saw somebody in the chat already say they weren't one starting pitcher away from winning the World Series.
Excuse me.
Probably true, right? And yet, they're depending so much on this offense rebounding and being different, really. I mean, it's not even just a rebound. It's not just like, okay, let's try the same thing and see if we can rebound. This is going to be a completely different approach to offense. So whether you have, another ace potential pitcher in the rotation or not, that had to happen for them to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And as Chris Young always says, his mantra, his motto is you can never have enough starting pitching, and he says pitching in general, but starting pitching in particular. And you can never, ever have enough starting pitching that costs you $5.6 million, right?
That's the truth.
This is a potential ace, could be ace-like from the left side even this year, and you're not paying him $6 million.
Yeah, and it's okay. This may not be the move that wins them the World Series or whatever, but if it gets them in the tournament,
right,
and you can get in the tournament with
3 guys like that plus
4 guys,
yeah.
You're gonna be a hard out. You're gonna be tough, and I still think, and I'm sure a lot of you agree, that the most important players on this team right now regarding the Rangers' future going forward are Jock Peterson, Josh Young, and Jake Burker.
Yep.
They need to hit. There's no question about that. And if they do, and if the pitching, if the rotation is as good as it looks on paper, the Rangers got a shot here.
Sure.
And now I don't think they should be done though. I really think that they need to continue to add pitching. And I love Jake Latz, and Kumar Rocker has all the stuff and the hype and talent, and the expectation is that he's going to be a really good major league starter. I'd still get some more guys. I don't want to lean on Winston Santos and Jose Corniel right now. And look what happened last spring. The Rangers are like, man, we feel good about rotation, and then it blew up.
Yep.
In the middle of spring training.
And for like Santos and Corniel in particular, Teodo, all of them, man. Teodo didn't get to pitch much last year because of injury.
Yeah.
Give them all those the more minor league reps they're able to get, the better they are, the more they develop.
Yeah. Regarding Teodo, the Rangers have decided that Teodo is now a reliever.
Okay, he's officially a reliever.
Going forward, he is a reliever,
okay.
But Santos and Corniel will continue to start. I still think they need to go out and get, they're going to go out and get non-roster guys, minor league deals.
Sure.
Okay. I would still like to see them get another pitcher on a major league contract.
Yeah.
And
again, like
they
we
said, they're
yesterday.
open to that. They're not done. All this stuff. Regarding the money that's been coming up there in the chat, Chris Young said that where they're at right now is where they expected to be. So there might have been reports of the Rangers trying to be at 185. I think 185 or 190 was a number that we saw earlier in the year. This probably gets them to about 220, 221. It's 20. That's $20 million less than last year,
and
so
26 under the luxury tax threshold. That's the thing they're not going to exceed.
Yeah,
I mean, there's almost no circumstances. The best hitter in the Juan Soto could suddenly become available at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
but the Rangers ain't signing him because they don't have much to trade anyway now. But it's not happening now based on they're not going over that CBT this upcoming year. But yeah, $221 million is a damn respectable amount of money to spend.
It is, and could it be more? Yes,
of course.
Should it be more? Yeah, I think it should be. But it is what it is, and right now, it looks like it's more than a lot of people thought it was.
Right.
So that maybe should be encouraging.
Yes.
So anyway,
so did in the conversation yesterday, and we may have to finish this up in the next segment. We'll also in the next segment we'll talk about the haul that Washington got, what was lost to the Rangers organization. But I saw it written somewhere, talked about somewhere that the Rangers had an internal projection of how many games they were going to win. Was that in the conversation with CY and Ross on the Zoom call yesterday?
Not necessarily a number, but they had gone over their projections and things like that, and they both agree that yes, the Rangers are now likely to be a better team,
right?
Because of that, and I don't remember it being shared, but that discussion took place, and
right.
So hey, if they think they're better, and if they think this gives them a better chance to win the World Series, go ahead and do it.
Absolutely.
And not just this year, but next year too.
That's right, because he's got another year of control after this one. So, yeah, let's talk about what was lost next as we, continue to digest what was another blockbuster trade for the Rangers this offseason. We'll talk about what they had to give up next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. So did you know that January is National Mentoring Month here at ALLCITY? We are, of course, partners with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and we encourage each and every one of you to show up for your city, show up for the people of your city, and that's the kind of thing, one of the few that goes beyond sports. Right now, thousands of kids are waiting for a mentor, someone to listen, someone to encourage, someone to simply be there. The impact is real, as we have learned from our buddy Anthony Andro, who's not only been a big brother, but in some ways still is. His little, as they call him, is a grown man with a family now, but Anthony's still very much in touch with him. So we know what the effects can be. We know this works. Become a mentor today by visiting bbs.org/allcity. That's bbs.org/allcity. Step up and be a big and help shape the next generation of kids.
And let's not forget about Wild Fork Foods, our good friends and sponsors, and really they're everybody's friends. Once you go to the store, they're so friendly and inviting and helpful. 9 locations in DFW, 2 more are en route, we're told. Looking forward to that. What do you get at Wild Fork Foods? Everything that is meat related. They have the standards: the chicken, the pork, the beef. They have seafood. They have kangaroo. John, I know you're a big kangaroo fan.
Oh, big guy.
They have everything you could possibly think of when it comes to meat, not just U.S. meat, Argentina meat. Argentina is a big beef provider, for those of you who don't know that. So, look, here's how we roll. We go to one of the 9 locations, but we can also go to wildforkfoods.com, become a member, free delivery, and boy, you won't regret wildforkfoods.com.
So, full disclosure, I think I've probably mentioned it on the show. Everybody in the studio knows I'm hard of hearing. So when I hollered over at our producer the other day, he said his name. I thought he said Kit. It's Kent. Kent is the producer. Do you mind if I call you Kit? Not a bit. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, that's right. I promise you he's been called worse, as have I. Kent, we appreciate you very much, and I apologize for my deafness. And Jeff, you heard him, obviously.
I did hear him.
You heard him the other day.
Yeah. No, this
Today.
morning.
This morning.
It was Bassick was filling in for me.
Oh, gotcha.
When Kit was.
Oh, that's right. That's
Kent,
right.
Kit Kat, when that first came up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very good.
All right.
Anyway, thank you, Kent. Thank you all for being in this chat. We do love to see it. The haul was big. I guess probably the headliner in it, the guy who, but it's 1 and 1A, but the guy who everybody thinks might have the most potential to haunt the Rangers is their number 1 pick from last year, the 12th overall, Gavin Feen. Big, strong, offensive-minded shortstop who, is just a baby in this game, right? So that's big. And then it's Rosario, the pitcher, who was he the minor league pitcher of the year a couple of years ago? Did he ever get that distinction?
He was. Yeah. And some questions have come up on that. On Feen first, the Rangers have had their hands on him for around 2 or 3 months. And I don't know if something changed in their evaluation of him, if they thought that this might take a little longer.
Sure.
I mean, he's 18. It's going to take a long time anyway.
Right.
But I don't know any of that for sure. This is speculation on my part. Maybe they felt like they needed to get out from under this one, and that the value was high, and that's just what they did.
Yep.
But the overall haul, it's a chunk, and it hurts. The Rangers have less to trade from at the trade deadline now.
Yeah.
So there is that. And of course, another draft is upcoming, in July. The Rangers just had what was it, last week? The international class.
Yeah.
They feel really good about that. So there's an infusion of talent coming. However, in the immediacy of that, all that coming together, and I mean, the draft is still 6 months away.
Right.
It's kind of like, geez, okay. Anywho, I don't know. We won't know. We won't know for 5 or 6 years.
Right. That's
if
the thing.
If this is something that's going to bite us in the butt or not.
The soonest you would see Rosario probably is 28. Well, I mean, I guess you could see him in 27.
I would say, 27.
But in the majors, I mean,
not in the majors.
Yeah,
no.
You're not going to see him in the majors.
Yeah. He'll
like
be Rule
28.
5 eligible before he's in the majors.
Right.
And look, I did see the same thing, McJowers. I think you just said it. Does he have a character issue? I can assure you that this kid does not have a character issue.
No.
He was on the weekly show with me and John Moore twice. I've met him in person, spoken with him. As nice and humble a guy as possible. He was raised in a single household by his mother, who taught him how to do everything, cook, do laundry, so that when he went to college, which is in Miami, so he was close to home, when he went to Hickory, I guess, he was a man. He knew how to take care of himself.
Yeah.
This guy is as solid as the day is long. Secondly, I think Tato asked, is there something going on beyond the elbow? And it's not for me to say, but the answer to that is yes. The story will come out when Alejandro and his team, which includes Scott Boras, are prepared to discuss it. But and maybe that's where this character issue thing has arisen from. It's something that I've been told off the record, so I can't say what it is, and it involves HIPAA and all that stuff. So I can't say what it is. And
it delayed the Tommy John.
Delaying things. Yeah.
It's the reason, because we were scratching our heads going, why hasn't he had this Tommy John? Why hasn't he had it? And then the reason that Jeff shared with me privately, but I can't mention, and neither will he, clearly explains why. Yeah. Right. So
but it's not an arrest. It's not
no, nothing
anything like that, or drug addiction or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right. This is a solid kid.
Yeah, I've met the kid too. He was unbelievably nice, poised, well positioned young man. So good for him. And I mean, obviously in the case of any of these kids, you hope they make it, but none of them are going to be significant big league contributors, with the possible exception, I guess, of Abby Ortiz. The rest of them, there's no chance they're going to be significant major league contributors until 28, right? That's a lifetime in baseball. That's 3 more seasons. I suppose some of them could get on a fast track, but the guys they were trading were all from basically, and look, Ross told us that at the end of the year last year. We got some really good talent in A-ball, all the best parts of the Rangers farm system or organization last year were pretty much in A-ball. Yeah. So, and those are some of the guys that got traded.
Right. So so let's reference Abby Ortiz, who was on the 40-man roster, and I presume, barring some other signing that happens, that MacKenzie Gore, I guess he has taken Abby's spot.
Yeah, I think it's just there's no deal there.
We like Abby, another nice guy, but he's limited. He's a 1 or 2 trick pony, and could that play in the majors? Maybe, but I think the Rangers could find better options. Excuse me. And then I really think ultimately, just from the things that I've heard, the Rangers love Devin Fitzgerald. I think that's the one that they felt like he had a chance to be a top 100 prospect at the end of this year. Jeremy Cabrera has been around for a while, still only an A-ball at age 20, which is okay, I guess. But I just really think that it sounds like a lot. especially when you say first round pick.
Yeah.
Last year's
Yeah.
first round pick.
Yeah.
But, and we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out in a couple of years. I think right now it's not as bad as it
Right.
as some people might think. I can see in a scenario where it's not as bad as or as damaging as people.
Yeah, and T.O. had that baseball value number earlier in the chat about, some $44 million is what the baseball value of Gore is, and all the players combined is way under that, and consequently, there are plenty of national pundits out there saying the Rangers fleeced the Nationals. Now, the Nationals, remember, have done a complete, sweep, a clean sweep of the manager and the front office within the last year. And so, Rizzo is out. And is it Paul Tolboni, whatever he is? Came in from the Red Sox.
And apparently the Red Sox really liked Fiend.
Yeah, they were sitting there at 15 last year, and they loved Fiend. And so they got Fiend. He's a guy they had their eye on, or he, as a Red Sox guy, had his eye on, and they got him, which is great, right? And I don't mean to. I'm not implying this is too strong of a statement, but it's the old one man's trash, another man's treasure. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the Rangers think Gavin Fiend is trash,
no,
but it seems to me like maybe the Nationals at this point think even more highly of him than the Rangers did.
Sure, and
that's okay.
Yeah, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it all plays out again. And I don't know. Get back to me on Fiend and
right. Well, that's the thing.
Let's say 2 or 3 years. Maybe he's having a good breakout season in AA or something,
or AAA. But yeah, 2 or 3 years, he's not gonna be in the majors most likely. Right. I mean, every once in a while, you've got that guy who just all of a sudden it clicks and he goes. But it doesn't happen very often with a high school kid. That's for sure. The high school kid is either like there immediately, or he takes 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why some people and a lot of college coaches will say that going to college is the best development path as opposed to going into the professional baseball. Don't know if I agree with that. But anyway, yeah, it's not he was selected 12th, which is high.
Yeah.
But to somebody's point who just asked, he's not a Langford type of candidate, or prospect. No, because if he was, he would have gone third.
Right?
Yeah.
They are they're different animals. And again, I mean, at that point, I don't know what Langford was coming out of high school, but
out of high school, he wasn't anything.
Yeah, yeah. So, but this kid got to a first round level coming out of high school. Good for him. But to whoever made the point about college, especially a program like the University of Florida, it really can be a good minor league, staff. I mean, that's one of the reasons the NFL has always said we don't have minor leagues, because the colleges do that for us, right? They don't have to spend all the money on minor league systems because the colleges do. Now there is sort of a form of that in the practice squads and so forth.
Yeah.
But the colleges get these pro players ready, and in the case of baseball, oftentimes that happens too. You just have to remember 1% is it of college athletes go on to become professional?
Yeah. I don't remember what the latest commercial says from the NCAA, but it's true. Go to class.
Yeah, you got to get your degree. So anyway, that it sounds like a big haul. But I've also seen many people saying it's true. The Rangers get this guy who was a number 3 overall pick, and they didn't have to give up their best hitter or their best pitcher in the organization.
Yeah, they didn't surrender a top 100 prospect.
Not even one top 100
And when Baseball America, when they do their lists, they'll do just missed. There were no Rangers in the just missed, which I think was like 20 more guys. So so that's a good way to look at it. But they did trade 5 of like their top 20 or something like that.
And I thought what was instructive too is if you go and look at what these guys have become within the Nationals organization. I'm pretty sure everybody the Rangers traded is like within the top 15 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 or 3 in the top 10. So
Yeah.
I think they needed, right? They needed this and you'd think after all the trades they've made,
Yeah.
Well,
and look, I think they made the trade of Soto because they knew they weren't going to be able to re-sign him, and they wanted to go down a kind of a rebuild path, and it's just taking them longer than they thought. So I think that's why Gore became available.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready to trade Dylan Cruz,
right.
or what was it, Eli Willits? Was that the guy who went first overall here just last year?
Yeah.
Or the nice big Woods, the outfielder who's hits the ball a mile when he isn't missing it.
Yeah.
So they have talent there. There's no question.
And
gosh dang it, the Brady kid from LSU, Brady House,
the third
baseman. So I would anticipate C.J. Abrams by the time Willits and Fiend are ready will be gone. Will have left via free agency, and I mean that was a huge haul. Abrams and Gore were top Padres prospects.
Yeah.
And they went for Soto, and now the Nationals are still kind of stuck.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's unfortunate, but it's also part of the reason they have a new front office and they have a new manager is because they couldn't quite figure. I mean, they won the World Series in 19, and they haven't been over 500 since. So it could be worse. All right, let's see how the conclusions are with all of this. We'll draw some conclusions and maybe talk a little bit about what else could be next for the Rangers as we continue to digest another blockbuster trade here on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Supporters Club time, and thanks to T.O. and Leon. Man, so many of you become members of the Supporters Club, and those of you who've done it independently, thank you for that as well. What it is, it's like our YouTube diehard version, like the YouTube channel diehard version. You get videos that not everybody else gets, and it's one a month roughly for each of our beats. Our last two have kind of been fun. They've been kind of behind the scenes looks at our show. Thanks to Cad on that one, and then GM Ben, who did the one from the winter meetings. I'm guessing that and when I'm at spring training here next month, we'll pull something together there. So anyway, just saying, it's well worth your money. It's well worth your time, and it's not a ton of money. And you get the sweet emojis that everybody seems to be boasting there in the old chat. So go ahead and do it. Become a member of our Supporters Club.
Yeah, and definitely get the newsletter. It's free. All you have to do is enter your email on our website there, and you'll get that thing to your inbox every day. And, man, Ali was busy yesterday. All of us were, really. So the Cowboys show ended. Jeff and I had just arrived, and I hear Skipper Ben running around. Hey, we gotta do an emergency pod. The Cowboys just got their defensive coordinator. And then our show just ends, and we're doing an emergency pod. Both of the first two shows of the day had emergency pods. I was curious to see, but Ali's he's a Cowboy guy.
Yeah.
So that was the lead of the newsletter instead of the Ranger trade.
Yeah.
But I did notice the morning paper. The morning paper had the Rangers above the fold and the Cowboys below it. So
well, I mean, it's a big national story. The Rangers trade. I mean, I don't know that the hiring of a defensive coordinator is national news. It certainly is big local news.
Big locally, yeah. So anyway, all that stuff is in there in that newsletter, as well as Mavs and Stars recaps and all that stuff. Don't forget the Luka and the Lakers are coming tomorrow to the AAC, weather permitting. And, we'll see what happens with all that. Whatever happens with it, I'll tell you this. You'll be able to find it right there in our newsletter. So become a subscriber to that fine publication today. Okay, so what do we conclude from all this? One, I said it right at the beginning. I said, the Rangers are in win-now mode. And, Chris Young said, something to the effect of, this is what you have to do if you want to win. Mm-hmm. Meaning, sometimes you trade 5, really well thought of prospects
Yeah.
to get this guy. And look, I go all the way back, and Jeff and I have mentioned it on the show before, but I go all the way back to the Doyle Alexander trade, we'll call it, because people might not remember that Doyle Alexander, who came to the Tigers in like 87 and went 11-0. Went 11-0. He was unbelievable. Where all Tiger fans are like, "Oh my God, this is great! What a great trade! Who'd we trade for him anyway?" Some kid named John Smoltz.
Right.
How'd that turn out? And the Tigers lost to the Twins in like the first round of the playoffs in '87.
Yeah.
So it really didn't pay many dividends. And I think Smoltz would have probably been pretty good in a Tiger uniform. But anyway, these are the risks. I've seen people in the chat talking about all the different things. That Ryan Dempster trade that didn't work out really well. For the Rangers, but others of them, they were talking about the Cliff Lee one. That didn't come back to haunt, and that was a true rental, despite the fact that the Rangers tried to make it not a rental. It was a rental, and it really didn't haunt the Rangers, right?
No, that was
Blake Bevan and Justin Smoke.
Yeah. Smoke was. I think he finally made an All-Star team. Yeah. Not the guy the Rangers thought they were getting, and then. You want to go to the Cole Hamels trade and look at that one. I think that was another 5 prospect plus Matt Harrison deal to make the salaries work. And none of those guys is in base. Well, one of them is still in baseball.
Yeah.
The catcher is still in baseball. Why can't I ever remember his name? He's from Colombia.
It's
Jorge Alfaro. He just signed a minor league deal with somebody.
Yeah.
But he was not the player the Rangers thought he was going to be. Really, the best in that trade was probably Jared Eichhoff.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So you never know, and player development's tough, man. There are no guarantees.
No, there aren't. But you take this risk when you believe you have a team. And as we've mentioned, I think we said this yesterday before the trade. The Rangers have, 2 future Hall of Famers. On the
potential,
ball. Yeah, potential. They're not secure yet, but these are 2 guys who are elite players. Obviously both in the top 100 of the recent rankings and all that kind of thing. And that's Jacob deGrom and Corey Seager. And when you have 2 players like this, Seager in particular, in his prime at 31 years old, man, you strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah,
and I love this mentality, and so. And in a perfect world, the Rangers would have grabbed Dylan Cease through free agency, right? But this year, that wasn't going to be possible. So what the general manager and the president of baseball operations did is they got creative. And we've known since the beginning of the offseason, MLB Trade Rumors had the number 1 target for trade possibilities at the beginning of the offseason, MacKenzie Gore. They were predicting that this was going to be something that the Nationals needed to do. And truthfully, because the Rangers are so good at being, coy and quiet and in the weeds about this, we kind of slept on MacKenzie Gore and others, that might have also been involved. Apparently, someone's saying that Rosenthal said they were in on Peralta too.
Yeah, so. The conversations, I guess. I did ask the question, how quickly did this come together? And Chris Young said, well, we first talked about it when we were doing our due diligence, making our initial feelers with every club. So talking October, right?
Right.
And then he said, and then recently it came together, and it came together quickly within like a week's time. So, the Rangers the Rangers knew they were handcuffed financially, and they knew that there are 2 ways to acquire players. 3 ways if you want to count the waiver wire.
Yeah.
But, trade or free agency, and their 2 big moves this year have been free agents, and honestly, they've been 2 of the bigger trades.
Right.
When the offseason wraps up. You want to do like the top 5 trades, the Rangers are going to have 2 of those spots.
They are.
Yeah. And
Two blockbusters.
Yeah, but and somebody going back to the internal projections. Here's the quote: "We do it at all point from Chris Young. We do it at all points in the season in terms of where we are in terms of our internal projections and the most significant ways that we can upgrade our club to give us the best chance to not only make the playoffs, to compete for a championship." And I want to be clear, that is our goal.
Right.
And he later said it again. It's their goal to win the World Series. And that's what Chris Young told Brandon Nimmo. They had a 90-minute conversation when Nimmo was trying to decide whether or not to waive his no trade clause or not. And they hung up the phone, and Nimmo was convinced that the Rangers were in it to win. I think the quote was, "This is not a rebuild.
Right.
We're going for it."
Yeah.
And so that was what got Nimmo going. So And you want to win, right? I mean, I know a lot of you have concerns about the farm system, and probably justifiably so. At some point, it catches up to you, but the Rangers haven't hit that point yet. And I think as long as they continue to have DeGrom, Eovaldi, and Seager on the team, so for at least 2 more years, and now with Gore, they're not going to rebuild. Unless Ray Davis, unless he's going to sell the team and wants to, get rid of all the debt,
right.
And in future contracts and make the team even more attractive to potential buyer in terms of dead money that you're bringing on in addition to the purchase of the club. I just think that and as long as Chris Young's general manager, I don't think rebuild is in his blood.
I don't think so either. And Ray Davis said to you, "We're never going to lose 102 games again, or 101, or whatever the heck it was that season." But let's just say they did decide to rebuild either at some point in the middle of this year or next year. They're going to trade some of these guys that are so tradable, and right then restock the farm system, right? Uh-huh. These guys might not get you a Soto return, right, but if you dangle Corey Seager out there because you're rebuilding, or if you dangle Jacob DeGrom or Nathan Eovaldi, you're going to get pretty good prospect return for guys like that. So they'd have the opportunity to rebuild it pretty quickly if that was the case. I don't think they're doing that either. I think the plan is to go and win. Now, there's been a lot of talk about you got to extend Gore right now. He's a Boris guy. So it is not easy to get a Boris guy to take an extension.
That's right. And it's happened. Jared Weaver is the one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Adrian Beltre continued to sign extensions, and he was a Boris guy.
Yep.
Now, granted, they weren't, Adrian was toward the end of his career. And it wasn't like, hitting his. He wasn't going to miss his
prime. He wasn't going to miss his first opportunity.
He'd his big payday.
Yeah.
I still think it's worth discussing. It's like, well.
Oh, yeah, you try it.
Yeah. And I also, especially because Eovaldi and DeGrom are not going to. They're at the end of their careers. I mean, there's no question about it. Just look at their ages. They're still real good, but they're not young. Right. I think that it would be wise to do that. Of course, as you and Bassick talked about last week, I don't know what they're waiting on a Wyatt extension.
No, no.
Yeah, just
get him done.
Get that absolutely done.
Yeah.
And then if we want to take the payroll down the road a little bit here, going into the next offseason, Jock Peterson's very unlikely to be back.
Right.
So there's $18.5 million
right there,
right away.
Yep.
You're gonna, you look at the signings in the bullpen that they've made. What, probably $10 million, let's say there. What happens if Josh Young doesn't have a good year, or Jake Berger doesn't have a good year?
Right.
What do you do there? Well, if you non-tender them, probably saving yourself, let's say 10 if you do the both of them.
Right.
There's going to be money available next offseason. Higashioka is a free agent after this season, so there's another 6 or 7. The money's going to add up. There's going to be money to spend. Hopefully the the television contract, the television network starts making more money, and there's more to spend, and but we just have to let it all play out.
Yeah, Ethan's right. Jock and Higashioka will be off the books, so that's like $25 million there. But of course, they'll need another catcher, so you might as well just automatically budget that money for another catcher. But it's a good point. So anyway, that's some of the conclusions for this huge blockbuster trade. We've got more coming up. We'll get to more of your thoughts as well as a brief cleanup segment coming next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. And it's Die Hard time.
Die Hard.
Yeah, please become one if you haven't already. You need to just go there and sign up. It's that all DLLS/intro, and that means introductory offer. And I think, and that means cheap. So go there, get that, and you'll be very happy that you did, because it is ridiculously inexpensive for you to get all the content like we just mentioned. I mean, and Jeff wrote within a few minutes of the press conference yesterday. I saw it in
right.
later.
Yeah, I wrote something right after the emergency pause.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, I didn't see that one.
Because I had to pick up. I had to pick up Molly. So
gotcha.
I had a very small window, so I just belted it out off the top of my head, and then we had the conference call at 4:15, and I was taking Henry to practice.
I gotcha.
So while he was at practice, I updated the story.
And so you added the quotes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
First one I saw had the quote. So anyway, it's that kind of stuff. Isn't that cool? Now you know how that went down. It's that kind of stuff, though, that you get from all of our guys. Clarence went upstairs when we got done here to write some. When they got done here, we were up there eating lunch. He went up there to write something. So our guys are always writing, always taking care of the news, and therefore taking care of you. Become a diehard and avail yourself to all that great stuff.
Yeah, store.allcitynetwork.com is where you'll get the free T-shirt that comes with your diehard membership. But we're more than just T-shirts. My mother-in-law, she was watching a podcast here yesterday, or the day before, and I was wearing a DLS sweatshirt. Well, we had gotten Jenny had gotten her dad, my father-in-law, the gray DLS collegiate sweatshirt as just a Christmas present.
Yeah.
And, I endorsed the product.
100%.
It's nice. And apparently, I haven't seen Larry for a while, but apparently he wears a sweatshirt all the time. It keeps him warm.
Nice.
And guess what? It's going to be cold this week.
Yeah.
Now, as good as we are, we're not going to be able to get you a shirt tomorrow or a sweatshirt. But they're there for you while you're stuck in the house killing time. Get you a shirt. Get you a sweatshirt. Get one of our 5 hats. I'm wearing the Mavs kind of hat that just came out here, in late November, early December. Store.allcitynetwork.com.
Yeah, so we get to the cleanup segment, and we start with our buddy, the 2023 Rangers Pitcher of the Year.
Hey!
Dane Dunning has signed with the Seattle Mariners. It's a minor league deal, but good for Dane. And it's weird, I mean, he was never a overpowering kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
He pitched. He didn't.
Right.
He didn't throw. Whatever.
Yeah.
But man, it went away. And
it did. And you go back to 23. He basically took over for Jacob DeGrom. Was terrific. And career high in innings and all that stuff. Then the next year, Dane will tell you that he was out of shape.
Yeah.
And
that was 24.
24. Yeah. He came back last year in better shape and pitched a little bit, I think, for the Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 call-ups, I remember.
But I love the guy. Such a nice guy. And he works out in the off-season. He lives in the Charlotte area, I believe. Mm-hmm. And he works out at Tread Athletics. And I guess Tread had a pro day, and the Mariners saw how he pitched and went ahead and signed him to a minor league deal. They should know him, And I think one of Dane's best starts in 2023 was against the Mariners. I think he had double-digit strikeouts. So a handy guy to have around. Nice piece of depth for them. Maybe he could be a swing guy in their bullpen. I hope for the best for Dane Dunning, and I saw that, and I'm glad for him.
Yeah, it brings a smile to your face because, this is a guy who, not unlike attitudinally, there was a big part of Dane that reminds me of what we see from Cody Bradford, right? Where it's just like, I'm ready to do anything. I'll do whatever they need.
Yeah.
And that's the way he, I think we all maybe approached his locker when we learned he wasn't going to be in the starting rotation at the start of the 2023 season. And we're all like, traipsing on, walking on eggshells and stuff like, oh, yeah, Dane. Oh, it's fine. I mean, and you could, sometimes guys say, I don't care where I hit in the order. It's fine with me, right? And they're really pissed that they got moved out of that 3 or 2 or 5 hole, whatever. Dane, you can just tell, no problem at all. He was ready to go do whatever they needed him to do. And then I don't remember what was the injury that forced him into that rotation in 23?
It was DeGrom's elbow.
It was the elbow. Was when So then boom, and he became basically the best starter and ultimately won pitcher of the year. Now, by the time they made all those trades at the trade deadline and, guys came back and whatever else, DeGrom never did, but the other guys, he was back in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he still pitched with Evaldi nursing what was crap. I don't remember, shoulder fatigue or something that just lasted and lasted and lasted. And, finally in September he came back. But Dane Dunning was the most valuable pitcher for the team that season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And lo and behold, they ended up winning the World Series.
Yep. Team that almost won the World Series this past year, 1 out away, inches away in extra innings from beating the damn Dodgers, was the Toronto Blue Jays. Anyway, Sir Anthony Dominguez has signed with the White Sox.
Yeah, how about those White Sox?
They freed up that Luis Robert money because the Mets are going to pay all of his contract. And so they freed up that money, and by God, they put it to use and went out and got Dominguez, who will close for them. And it's a 2-year, $20 million deal.
Yeah, Dominguez was with I think he started with the Orioles last season, and then went to the Blue Jays, pitched in the World Series, and interesting. The most interesting thing is that the White Sox have been so active this offseason, as they, I think, if you want to make a correlation, this offseason could be like the Rangers' 2021 offseason when they made their big signings. Now, let's not go crazy here. The White Sox haven't spent $500 million on players.
No,
but it feels like they're getting more into we're going to compete. We're good. We're laying the foundation here. Let's get some good guys. And then, if it doesn't work out, boom, trade them.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And but it's this is, I love that. We love it for a lot of reasons, but maybe foremost among them for our buddy Will Venable. Who was the bench coach here for Boch in the 23 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then was he here in 24 as well? No, yeah, he was. Last year was his first year as the manager in Chicago. So anyway, we like Will, and we like that he, maybe therefore he isn't just destined. We were afraid when he got that job. It's like, well, he's getting that job to get fired.
Yeah,
and hopefully. They moved up a decent amount year to year.
Yeah.
And if they move up like that again, good for him.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's cool. There's a Nick Kurtz, one of those 1-of-1 cards.
Ooh.
One of those rookie cards. His debut patch card.
Patch, yeah.
And that card has sold, Jeff.
Oh.
It's the second highest total that one of these cards has sold for. They haven't been doing this for very long.
No.
But the highest one, and I never saw what the number
right?
was. Yeah, Skeens.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens had the high. This one, Kurtz, sold for $516,000, Jeff.
Well, you never, you remember that the Skeens card came with, the offer from the Pirates for season tickets for life.
That's right.
And like Livy Dunn was gonna
come and do a gymnastics display or something.
Just wear some leggings or something for you.
Yeah.
and it was a kid that pulled it,
Yeah.
which was cool. And then I think
In L.A., though.
Yeah, but then they went to an auction house
Yeah.
and probably paid for his college that way.
Sure.
You never heard that from the A's.
No,
Hey,
no.
We'll give you tickets for life in West Sacramento or
Yeah.
Vegas. That would have been pretty sweet. But
Sure. Yeah.
It's which leads me to a story. Sonny Dykes, who is the TCU football coach, he and I are buddies.
Good man.
And he was the Cal coach. So they're in Berkeley in the Bay Area. And so he gets the job, and of course, they're like, hey, let's, the teams, the A's want him to throw out the first pitch. Hey, it's the new guy. All right, so they're like, here's your date, come and throw out the first pitch. Well, they go, him and the SID and maybe a couple other people, and like nobody meets him in the parking lot from the A's. They didn't give him like an A's cap even. All right. And so he had to buy his own A's gear for the first pitch. All right. So a couple weeks later, he's in his office and he gets a call, and it's from the Giants.
They want him to do it. Yeah.
And it's his turn to go to San Francisco, and he picks up the phone, and the guy on the other end goes, "Hey, this is Willie Mays from the San Francisco Giants."
I knew you were going to say that.
And Sonny was like, "Come on." Because Sonny didn't play college football. He played college baseball at Texas Tech. He's like, "No, come on." And Willie Mays like, "No, it's really me," and all this stuff. So the Giants sent a huge box of stuff with personalized jerseys for him and his wife and his kids. And they sent a limousine to pick him up and take him across the Bay Bridge, which is a big pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And, they greeted him, and he threw out the first pitch and all this stuff. So anyway, I'm not surprised that the A's didn't offer anything for the Nick Kurtz card.
No. But it's a great point, and it speaks to, I heard somebody on Loud Outs with our buddy CJ Nitkowski the other day. They were talking about how the teams in general have equalized the amenities that come with being a part of that team, right? Mm-hmm. The Cubs and the Red Sox, you always just knew you were going to have crap amenities, but you also did have history. Well, I don't know if the Red Sox have ever done this with their clubhouse. That Cubs clubhouse is, and look, there's the card we were talking about. There's the Kurtz card right there. That Cubs clubhouse was what the Rangers clubhouse at Globe Life Field is patterned after. It's like a sports bar. I mean, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. I think they dug like a basement or something under Wrigley Field in order to make room for it, because Wrigley's squeezed right in there. Anyway, all these teams have the same amenities now, except maybe the A's.
Yeah.
I mean, the A's just they don't know how to get out of their own way.
Last time I've only been to the Red Sox clubhouse once. It was to see Mitch Moreland, and it was not big. The A's clubhouse at the old place, the Coliseum, was not nice. I have not made it to the Cubs clubhouse.
It's fantastic.
But the visiting clubhouse is about as big as this room.
Oh, it's awful. And you have to, is it? I can't remember. Is it there or Boston? We have to go upstairs. I think it's Boston.
I think it's
Chicago.
It's Chicago.
Yeah.
And then to get to the field, it takes like 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a damn maze.
Well, and in Boston, you got to go through the crowd. And you're like, even the players.
After the game. After the game in Wrigley to get to the clubhouse, you're swimming up. You're like a salmon.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but I think, though, most of these teams have done a really good job. And it goes beyond that. It's the hotels they stay in. It's the way they travel, whether it's, all of them are charter now, but, all those kinds of things. They're significant in guys deciding. Guys will leave money on the table to not have to deal with West Sacramento or a thrifty, let's say.
Well, and that's
cheap.
What we were saying last year when they signed Severino and a couple other guys. Is like, oh, they have to pay the West Sacramento tax.
That's right. That's right. They had to pay a little bit extra. So anyway, man, what a way to finish the week. We appreciate the Rangers getting that done. The Dog Days became the Westminster Dog Show, and we appreciate that. And of course, as always, we appreciate you being in the chat with us. And we've got a full week of these next week. we believe that for the first couple days we may be, festooned in our homes because of the
lampooned.
The horrible weather that's about to move in here. But we'll still be here, 1:00 every day next week with more editions of the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.